The following is a Productions original series.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I'm Doug Vincent. Along with Addie Rich, our podcast is dedicated to amplifying the voices of the disability community. Thank you so much for joining. I am a polio survivor, and Addie
has cerebral palsy. I think sometime we should just reverse it to see who actually listens.
I like it.
I think then we can see who listens.
Yes. So keep it in the same order, but then I'll have CP and you'll be a polio survivor. Okay, I should tip our hand. Uh-oh, did I lose you? Oh, jeez. Oh, I can't hear you. Darn it! That was so good. All right, I guess I have to restart this. Well, we just wrapped up with the opening and looked over and I forgot to hit record. So
we did it. We did it by ourselves. We practiced.
We did a little rehearsal. All right. Yeah. Well, this is where we'll pick up. How was your week?
My week was great. I worked, and then it was Valentine's, and I hung out with friends and ate some good food. I got a new sweater, and it was cute and fun, and I got myself junior mints for my own Valentine.
So I was going to ask if you got something sweet. So you're
I have mints? I have to, and generally it's a toss-up between Butterfinger and Junior Mints, but I don't know. As I'm older, I'm like Junior Mints, so that's what it was.
So and when the Girl Scout cookies are out now, do you get the mints?
Wow, yum! Yeah. I didn't even know it was out.
Yeah.
You know what though? They're so expensive. I mean, this is where I'm old. I'm like, God dang! I remember when they were cheap.
Yes.
And honestly, I like the first 4 cookies, and then they sit on my counter for eons, where I'm like, I'm not going to eat those.
You don't just finish the sleeve all by yourself?
Nope.
Nope. Nobody else does that probably but me, right?
No, I mean, nobody here at least.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Yes.
How was your weekend?
It was good. I had a friend come over, and she needed help. She's opted to do the hard tires, the solid tires, no air on her wheelchair. Okay. And so she needed help changing them. And I've never done it before. But I thought, okay, yeah, sure. I'll give it a shot. So she didn't bring dinner. She brought groceries to make dinner. So yeah, it was very good. She brought Spencer steak. She asked me, what's your favorite steak? And I'm like, well, it's kind of expensive. I think Spencer steaks was probably the top. And she's like, no problem. So she brought that and asparagus, and we grilled those on the grill, and some potatoes in the oven, just sliced them. So kind of cooked them in the oven that way. Yeah, very good. Very good. And she brought a little dessert too.
I'll be like, yay. You know me, I like steak. Even though I'm a tiny girl, I'm like, I want a whole steak, thank you.
And she brought like 4 of them. I think I only ate half of one. She took a little bit home, and I kept some, so I've got that, I think, for tonight. But other than that, kind of a quiet week. There's been about 3 weeks that I was just really busy between going to meetings and things on the weekend, and all of that stuff. And so this one was kind of quiet, so worked out nice. I had a voiceover and could get that done real quick. And,
cool.
And it's laundry day today. Every Monday. I'm a very routine person, so that's going on.
I mean, I think you've met 2 of us that are very routine, and we get discombobulated if you mess with our routine. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I literally always wake up. Well, okay, if I'm asleep, we have to make a caveat, because a lot of times I sleep horrible, so I'm not actually asleep. But were I asleep, I wake up 3 minutes before my alarm any day I'm actually asleep, and it's always the same time, and I'm always like, how do I do that?
Oh, yes. How do you do that? I know when I was working and I had to get up regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, your body just gets into that rhythm, huh?
Yeah, and if you don't, the dogs get you up because they're like, oh my God, you're late.
Now,
I'm like,
I don't know if you do this, but if you're a bad sleeper, or a poor sleeper, or you have a hard time sleeping, I play a game with myself. I'll try to guess what time it is before I look at the clock.
Okay.
And it's amazing how many times I'm right.
Yeah, isn't it weird? Like your insides know it. I know I had a really rough time sleeping last night. Like I went to bed at 12:30 because I couldn't fall asleep. And then I woke up at 3:47 and I was awake until I had to go to work at 6.
Yeah.
I never closed my eyes again. And it was one of those things where it's like 15 minutes, 15 minutes to go. Well, now I'm tired as hell.
Okay, that's me too. Okay, glad to know I'm not the only one.
No.
Absolutely. All righty. Well, and then I guess I don't want to pass on this. Racing begins this weekend or began this weekend.
Oh my God, that's in heaven.
That's my number one thing. I mean, I like to watch football, baseball, and a few other things, but yeah, that's really my passion. So the truck races.
Okay, now I'm going to be nosy. How did you even decide you liked racing?
Well, I learned years ago because I always was fascinated by the fact that the different children raised by the same people could be so different. Mm-hmm. And then I read something one time, like from a psychologist that says, those aren't the factors really that choose your personality. If there's 3 or 4 kids and there's somebody who's known as athletic,
yeah,
you go a different direction because, and this is probably subconsciously, you go a different for your identity, not that you don't want to compete with them, but they've already got the slot as the athletic person. So I'm going to be the theater person or whatever it is that you want to do.
Okay.
So my brother was very athletic, my older brother. And, I'm trying to think of the earliest time I was into it. Well, I remember when we were very young, there was a shopping center that had a go-kart race in the parking lot. And they put up hay bales and, first time I'd ever seen that. So I think that was kind of the first time it started to get on my interest. And then my mom's sister, my aunt, she married a guy that was into motorcycle racing. And at some point, I don't know where he was in his travels, but he found a go-kart in his at some place in the weeds, and it was like just tore up. And he brought it to me, and I just spent the time stripping it down and repainting it and putting it. He got it for us kids, but everybody kind of knew it was mine, and I tore the engine apart just to see, how it all worked and all that good stuff. So and then I was on, and then I started.
A love was born. Yeah,
absolutely. Our guest today, Ty Gipson, and you'll hear me say this several times, I think, in the interview, with a P, because when I went looking to get some information about Ty, there is a pastor out there, I guess, of note that, so his stuff all comes up, because it try, how when you search for something, it'll try to
the algorithm
outguess you. Oh, you must have meant Gibson. No, I meant Gibson. But
I can spell today.
So he's coming up. He is relatable for me because my daughter was diagnosed with type 1, oddly enough, at like 28 years old. He's had it much earlier, and that's why they used to call it juvenile diabetes, because it mostly, it starts kind of from the jump with people. But at any rate, so he's got a story to tell. He's ups and downs and, plot twists like our friend here.
Yes. He definitely, he is a book. He is a full book with lots of twists and turns when you're like, and then another one and another one. And that's why he's so interesting to see how he maintained his positive attitude and like what he's made of life, no matter how many times like his ticket got punched to go sit out for a minute.
So it sounds like he's taken his experiences of having to go through these things, and he's learned some mechanisms I think he's felt like helped him get through it. Maybe it'll help you if you're going through something. So that's kind of a mission of his now too.
Yes.
So we'll hear all about it coming up right after this from our good friends at Ugyar Professional Training.
At Ugyar Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Ugyar is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Ugyar Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
From the Ugyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
Welcome back to Walk and Roll Live. I am Doug. Addie is here. And our guest for this week, Ty Gipson. That's with a P. And why don't we let you kind of give yourself a thumbnail introduction, and then we'll do the deep dive.
Well, thank you guys, both of you, for allowing me to be here. I'm excited. And, I'm here because I have as we were talking earlier, I said I have a PhD in life experiences and overcoming adversity. And for the longest, I was one that just didn't really talk about it. I was raised to dust off and keep going back in the day, right? And so I never really talked about it. But over the last several years, I started talking, and just to see the response that people have gotten from the challenges I've gone through, from a type 1 through multiple transplants and small business owners and things of that nature. It's just been amazing to me. And I try to encourage people, whatever that wall is in front of them, that we have the tools to climb it. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, Doug.
Very nice. So let's go back to the beginning. Where did you grow up, that kind of thing? And you say they discovered you had type 1 diabetes. And that's just your pancreas saying, I'm out, right?
Yeah. And diabetes is obviously there's a lot of diabetics out there, and there's a difference between type 1, insulin dependent, and a type 2, an onset type diabetic. But I was juvenile diabetic, type 1, grew up in Orange, Texas, which is Southeast Texas. I mean, right before you go into Louisiana, it's right there. So border of Texas, Louisiana on the coast. But I grew up down that part of the country, and at age 8, I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes.
What's your recollection of hearing that news? I'm sure as an 8-year-old probably couldn't really fully understand.
No, not at all. I mean, actually, the what I did understand is when the doctor said I had to give myself a shot every day. I didn't know anything else.
You're like, what?
But I absolutely understood that, right? So, but I mean, going from just a healthy kid, running, playing sports and doing everything and fishing and doing, just being a boy, right? To all of a sudden just saying I'm going to be taking shots, and I've got, but technology's come a long ways from the 70s. Yeah. I mean, we used to do a blood test, and it was kind of a range. You're between 80 and 120. Nowadays they've got it to the the exact number. But yeah, it was a little different back then. I mean, for sure. But I was not so sure what diabetes was, but I did understand it. I heard them say I had to start taking shots every day.
Right. Yeah, you heard the pertinent part to your kid brain, who was like, wait, what?
What?
Wait, what did you just say? Yeah.
Did you rewind, please? How did you know that was had happened? Did you feel bad? What I don't.
Yeah, and it was one of those things that I, again, just being a normal kid, but I was exhausted, and they were used to me just kind of going, and back then we didn't have all the games and stuff sitting around. I mean, we played outside all day, every day, and then so all of a sudden, my mom said she'd come home and I would be laid up on the couch, curled up on the couch and just taking naps in the middle of the day, and so she knew something was wrong. And then one night, she said she woke up the next morning and I had drank like a gallon of water, and realized something was wrong. That's the day they brought me in and diagnosed me with diabetes.
I'm particularly interested in your story, Ty, because my daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes about a decade ago, and she was 28, which is, really, as you know, kind of unusual. And she was just devastated because she was a runner. She had always, since she was a kid, very particular about, what she ate, and she was very, very health conscious. So it just really devastated her. She's like, Dad, I'm doing everything right. And then this happens, because for about the first hour, they didn't know, that it was type 1. They thought it was type 2. So they got that sorted out, so that made a lot more sense in an odd way.
Right.
But she, same kind of thing. She was just out of sorts, went to the doctor, not thinking. And kind of a funny side story. When she's always drank a lot of water. I mean, literally when she was a baby and, we'd go out and we'd come home and we'd ask the baby, "So everything go all right?" She says, "Yeah, oh yeah, everything was great." She did drink a lot of water though. But, it was enough that, somebody noticed, the babysitter noticed, but yeah, that was just pretty much normal.
That's
for her.
Awesome.
But so, of course, all this technology now has started. So she's got, the blood monitor, and
CGM.
the pump.
Got one right here.
Yeah. So, man, you probably were very excited when those things started to come along.
Well, the cool thing was, and I'll tell you, I was part of, in my, it's kind of funny. My brother calls me a lab rat, but I was just at the time when all this new technology was starting to tick. So in the 70s, when I went in, it said such brittle diabetes. They finally said, "Hey, there's doctors in Houston," which was about 2 hours from us, specializing in this. And they went in, they started they said that I had such brittle diabetes, but they were working on this machine that they were putting. It was a chemotherapy syringe pump, and they were putting insulin in it and using it to try to help regulate some of these diabetics that had such brittle diabetes. Well, as we all know today, that insulin pump is a little bitty thing, but it was almost 2 pounds.
Jeez.
So I wore a box. I mean, I looked like I'm wearing a brick on the side of my belt for a little bit. But I mean, that was, you talking about being kind of part of the, some of the new technology and new things. But even then, I mean, it was from where they were at then, and that was probably 1979. I mean, it's just amazing to see. I'm still very in tune with all the new technology and stuff going on with diabetics, and it's just amazing when I hear all the new stuff and see the new technology.
Apps on your phone so you can monitor it.
Right. Exactly.
And when you get a diagnosis like that for your child, you're very worried as a parent, but that very quickly kind of faded away because my daughter's kind of a scientist anyways, and she's very, very disciplined on anything she does. So, her goal, and she's very, a bit of a perfectionist, I guess you would say.
I was like, she's your daughter. So, hello.
But she wants to keep her A1C as normal as possible. That's her goal all the time. So, so that kind of helps me, alleviate some of that fear. Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine? I mean, and I talk about my mother's 85 now, and I always ask her, I said, "Mama, I can't imagine, because they didn't know if you were, nowadays I know, obviously I know my body. I know when I feel this, I can tell you probably pretty close to what my blood sugar is at. But as a young kid, they never knew, I mean, if I'd go off to school, if I was in a football game, if, playing the game, little league football or baseball, whatever it was, I mean, what is his blood sugar low or high, or why is he talking, I can't even imagine how, but like you said, nowadays a mom can watch on her phone and tell you exactly where they're at.
Yeah, come here and eat a snack. I in college, my roommate was diabetic. And so I learned okay, cheese, peanut butter sandwich. I'm very good at your speech is weird and you look tired. What's going on? You know what I mean? And I knew how to prick her finger and do all those things. But that was in 2000, right? So it was still kind of on the edge. She eventually got a pump, but it was an education to be like, "Melissa, why do you look like?" And then not even no, she's not going to answer me correctly because she doesn't know either. I'm like, "Here, have some cheese."
It's so good to have people that do understand around you, and that's what's nice. But I mean, again, just the technology has helped that tremendously, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure you had the support of your parents, siblings. You had some siblings as well.
I do. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had great parents, and I have I'm the youngest of three. I have an older brother and sister, so they were always kind of bird dogging me as well, kind of making sure I wasn't eating I wasn't sneaking any cupcakes or anything around the house, but it was kind of interesting, and I mentioned it earlier. As a young kid, I was raised. My dad was one of those guys, like we was talking about, just dust off, boy, you'll be all right. Nobody wants to hear your problems. Quit complaining. And so, at the time, it was a little disheartening sometimes, but now I look back and I'm very thankful because I really think it helped equip me to get through kind of some of the adversity in life. You know what I'm saying? It really made me kind of just prepare for what I didn't know was coming ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Doug and I always say because our parents were like that. You know, we got chores, we got in trouble, we did all the things. But I'm like, if you wrapped us in bubble wrap, we wouldn't be who we are. So it is kind of good that they're like, okay, stand back up, keep going, thank you, bye. You know, I don't want anyone to coddle me and hold my hand, and I don't feel like I need it because it wasn't allowed when we were little. Other than being a kid, you were a different kid, but you were a kid, so you were taught like, you know, treated like a kid. So
it is kind of annoying when you're getting all that extra attention. It's like, no, I can handle it.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Yeah, problem.
Please leave me alone. Well, it sounds like, oh, go ahead, Doug. Sorry.
I was just going to ask how life was with diabetes, you know, going forward and going through school and all of that.
You know, it was it's so funny, you know, I was, because of the insulin pump, I was so many, it's even to this day, I still run into people. They're like, oh, you're the guy that wore that insulin pump on the side, you know? But you know, I mean, I would say the biggest thing, and I was talking about this the other day with somebody, was, you know, as a kid, I mean, back then it was cupcakes and, you know, we had all these the birthday parties, right? Well, we didn't have soda so much, but we sure had a lot of Kool-Aid with a lot of sugar and punches and all this stuff. And I never was able, you know, you go to those parties and you see all this stuff out, and then over on the side, there was this one little drink that usually was for me, right? That was, and if you guys may remember this, but it was the worst diet drink they ever made was Tab.
Tab,
and it was in a pink can, and to this day I despise. I mean, it was just the worst ever. They've come so far with that as well, but that was always kind of my deal, you know. So as a young kid, I do remember just missing out on that. But again, my parents never let me miss out on, you know, participating and going and doing. So I never, you know, it didn't really bother me. I mean, as a other than, I mean, I grew up in a smaller town and everybody knew I had diabetes. So it's kind of like everybody watched out for me.
Right.
Nice.
I live in Georgia. So I obviously was raised in Cali, but I've been here for more than 20 years. So I kind of know the Southern, like the neighborhood raises you. I'm like, good luck getting away with that because someone's going to call your mom before you get home. So
my mother worked at the local state bank, so it didn't matter. Everybody went in. Hey, Ty, stop time. You know. So it was a community of people helping me out for sure.
That's
Very
nice.
Yeah.
Was there something you were going to say earlier, Hattie? Do you remember?
Oh, well, yeah, no, I was going to move it to college because I'm excited to talk about. I'm excited to talk about your Disney experience, and obviously, people like your parents raising you to be brave and get out there and just do it. That is, I assume, would lend to that, right?
It was, and you know, and again, I thank them at the time. I didn't always think that was the coolest thing, but I'm very thankful for it now. But you know, and to keep moving forward, you know, pumps. I was involved with the team out of Houston, the doctors, that as pumps technology got better, I would get the newest and latest versions and all that. And so I wore pumps for years and did well with it. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't the model diabetic. I wasn't any poster child for being the best diabetic. I can promise you that. But you know, I mean, I grew up fishing and doing all those fun things, and I'll never forget. You know, it made me just remember this. I would take my pump off and go swimming. Well, I went back to go get my pump and it was gone.
Oh,
and all of a sudden we went on a neighborhood hunt. Well, the dog had ran off with my pump. I had teeth marks now in my that was just about did it. My parents were so upset with me over that.
Right. They're like, we are going to tape you to the front porch. Like, yeah.
But anyway, different pumps throughout, you know, and then I get into, you know, high school, and I played sports, and I did all that in high school, and I mean, was involved with. I didn't miss out on anything, right? Everything was great. Went off to college, and college was great. I mean, I did I was able to stay involved, and I was very involved with my college and just very active. And then and you brought up, after college, I'd never been to Disney in my life.
Yeah.
And so I was talking, I'm a graphic design and a marketing
I was going to say, what
major.
did you do at college that got you there first? So
I'm a marketing, I had a marketing degree and a graphic design degree.
Okay.
And my dad always asked me, what are you going to do with a graphic design degree? He was always real, he wouldn't say he wasn't real happy, but I could tell, I knew that was not what he wanted me really to be doing. But anyway, after college, I got the opportunity through our program at school. There was a program, and some of my professors had given them my name. And anyway, I was asked to do an internship at Disney.
Yeah, which is
and
amazing.
so I went for a couple of the meetings, and sure enough, they said, "Yeah, we'd like for you to come participate." And I went back to my parents. I'm like, "Man, do I really want to do this?" And I'm like, I'm kind of ready to get on and get going in my life, and try to find a job, one of those type things. And my dad said, really, he said, Disney is one of the best companies you'll ever, I just envisioned Disney as a bunch of little rides. I did not have any idea what it was all about. But as we learned more, and I decided I was going to go, and I went, did an intern there, and it's called the college program.
Yeah.
And so I did this college program, which was really cool. And I mean, I'm so thankful I went, because it opened my eyes to a whole nother world at Disney. The internship students were all over the country, but I got selected. You go in and you work in different parts of the park. You work in, and then you have, you learn some of your major, work on some of the marketing stuff. Anyway, my first job, if y'all know anything about Disney, you will know this job. My first job I was the Jungle Cruise skipper that tells those stupid jokes on the little ride that went around.
The puns and all that.
Oh yeah, where the hippos come out of the wall. It was it was fun. But that was my first job, which was really cool. But I got through the internship, and then when it was done, I got asked to stay and go to work in their marketing department.
Yeah.
So I was able to work, which obviously kind of the low end of the totem pole, but it was, I was working in their Imagineer department, and we were doing some really cool stuff, and I loved it. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it really exposed me to a lot of, obviously Disney does it right. I mean, they don't, there's no cutting corners in any form or fashion. So it was a really cool opportunity, and I got to do that. But then I got where I wanted to do my own thing. I really had always had, wanted to do and I just felt like it was something I wanted to do. And so anyway, after several years of that, I come back, and I did a couple little jobs, but then I was able to, now I had through Disney, we're still on the insulin pump, so I don't get off track here. Mm-hmm. I was on the insulin pump, and I stayed there, but I came home and I started working, doing some different types of work in marketing, into design. Yeah. And at that point is when I got sick.
Yeah.
I started feeling really bad, and I didn't know what it was. It was just one of those deals where I just couldn't go. I was out of energy, and I was 30. I just turned 30. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, you're like, this is not a midlife crisis. What's happening?
Peak, right?
Yeah.
What is going on? And so I go to the doctor, and the doctor, he says, hey, you've I hate to tell you this, but you've lost your kidney function. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
You're like, well, no wonder I feel like doo-doo.
What shots do I need to take? Just keep going. What is it? And he said, no, you actually need a transplant.
Oh, wow.
And I said, a transplant? So tell me more. So anyway, he said, but you have such brittle diabetes, Ty. If you have another transplant, all that's going to do is we're just going to continue to keep going through kidneys, because your diabetes is so brittle.
Yeah.
He said, but there is a doctor in Baltimore, Maryland, that's doing research on a dual transplant where they do a kidney and a pancreas at the same time.
Wow.
And he
That
said,
makes sense, right? Because you got to like fix the two pieces that are broken.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, for sure. And so he said, but I got to find out if you're a candidate for that, right? So we go out there and I go in, do tons of tests and all these different things. And they come out and said, absolutely, you are a candidate. My mother, who's now 65 at the time, says, Ty, I know, I don't know if my kidneys are any good. I don't know anything about it, but God gave me two kidneys and one of them's yours if you need it. And I said, well, that's awesome. And I'm very thankful for that. And I said, Mom, we've got to find out if you match and all that, right? So we went through it and my mother matched perfectly.
Amazing. Awesome.
But here, keep in mind, I'm getting a kidney from my mother, but I'm getting a pancreas, and that only comes from a deceased donor.
Yeah.
So we got put on a waiting list, right? So you get wait on the waiting list, and so in Baltimore, we're set up, we're going through tests, I'm back in Texas at this point, we're doing tests every week just to stay ready. So when the call comes, we can mobilize to get there. So I went through 8 months, continued to try to work, and I would go to bed at like 6 p.m. just to try to make it through the next day because I was just so beat. So anyways, 8 months goes and constantly talking to people in Baltimore. Super Bowl Sunday in 1999, at midnight, I get a call from Baltimore, and I knew immediately. I was like, oh, they wouldn't be calling you at midnight just to check on you.
Hey, let's just chat.
Yeah. So they said, hey, there's been an accident. There's a pancreas that matches. It looks like it's going to be a good fit for you. We just want to get you mobilized, get you going. So of all times, now listen, I call my mother every day and she answers the phone every day. I call her and she does not answer the phone.
What?
And I'm like, good Lord. I said, that's my kidney. I got to, So anyway, she answers and we're all good. But we get, it's like the movies, everybody, you take off, hurry, and then you wait and, they're testing and all this. But we get there. So in the operating room, I'm in the middle operating room, and they have a team working on the organ, getting it ready. And then they have a team working on my mother, getting her kidney so that we can do all this at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a 16-hour surgery.
Good Lord.
And it was, the thing is, and this is one of the things where I like to talk because they had 4 surgeries of that type surgery. 2 of them were not successful. So basically I'm going into a 50-50 shot, But I knew, and the doctors had talked about this with me and said, the quality of life of you just going on a dialysis and living in the world of the dialysis and just hoping, it's not a very good lifestyle. And it's not very long, really.
Yeah, for sure.
But, and at the time, I'm looking at my daughter's 6.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about some tough calls, right? You're going, I'm walking away, not sure if I'm going to come back. And that was a really hard time, but I knew if I could get over that wall, that there was a lot beating my daughter on the other side that I could live a quality life with.
Right.
So that was a really hard time and something to really think about. But so we go through the surgery, I get through it, and I'm not going to sit here and say it was easy because it was, I came out of surgery the next day taking 60 pills a day.
60.
60.
Oh.
Because, well, you have all these anti-rejection,
exactly.
Probably 6 or 7 of them are anti-rejections, and the other 50 are ones that the side effects that these cause, right? So
sure.
It was just a lot of medication. And your body's trying to not reject these organs that are now in your body and then all the medication. So it was a really hard time. And they said it's going to take about a year before you really start to feel better. Yeah. And it did. Each month would get better and better. And I'll tell you, it was amazing. After that first year, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But think about it. I didn't have diabetes. So all of a sudden, if y'all remember me talking about that cupcake.
I was like, did you go get a cupcake? Yeah.
I went
see
and
where
got
this
me
is
a
going.
big old Dr. Pepper and a candy bar. And that was like the best day ever. But
Right? It was friggin' Christmas times 30. Yeah.
My doctor, I asked them, and they said, don't get used to that. But yes, go do that. Yeah, definitely go try one.
You're
But,
like, I'm alive. I'm having a cupcake. Yeah, that's
but
amazing.
here, the thing was organs don't last forever,
Yes.
right? And so my pancreas lasted for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have diabetes for 12 years. And then my mother's kidney lasted me for 20
Amazing.
years. So now we are in 2019, end of it 2019, and my kidneys start to fail again.
Okay.
And it was, at this time, so I'm going to go back. At this time, I was able to get married. I was able to open our business. My wife and I opened our business, and that's where we went in and finally opened up the printing and the sign company.
Yeah.
That we started, and we was able to adopt my second daughter.
Yay.
We got her at birth. So
Amazing.
It was amazing. And so all that to say, because someone made a choice to be an organ donor,
Yeah.
I was able to fight, to be able to climb that wall that we talk about, right? And I have never got to meet the family, but I'm very thankful, that somebody made that choice. Because if we talk about it here, on the other side, of this adversity, when I hit that wall of 50-50 shot of survival, basically, and all these, kidney failure, on the other side of that, like I said, I was able to adopt, get married, open, all of these things, right? So I always say, whatever wall, that our audience or we're looking at today, we have the tools to get over that wall.
Yeah.
And I just try to encourage people, and I'm going to dive into our tools that we have here short in just a second, but the story gets better. So let me finish this story. And after that, right, I went for 20 years, and my sister matched my kidney.
Amazing.
So we were going to have her, but here's what happened though. We went through all the tests, and I got put on dialysis during that time because it just, my kidneys just pretty much stopped. But I will tell you this, if you know anybody or anybody out there knows people in dialysis, I'm a Christian guy. I would say a prayer for those people, because it is a hopeless place.
Yeah.
And I always say, encourage people going through that, because it's just a place where you think about it. They're waiting for somebody's organs to match so that they can obviously extend their life, right? So I always say that was a really hard time. But right before my transplant, they came back and said my sister's kidney was not going to be a good match. There was something came up. So my wife, who all this time has said, hey, I'm a different blood type, but I want to go donate my kidney so that somebody can donate and get yours.
Oh,
and
that's
she
so
did.
freaking smart.
And so she went to the doctors to start the blood work, and she calls me, and she's absolutely just in tears. I couldn't understand what she said. I said, what is wrong? And she said, Ty, I match you perfectly. So all that to say, 6 weeks later, I received my wife's kidney, and I have felt better than I have ever. And
you're really a team.
Absolutely. But I always tell people, I don't have enough money in the world for Mother's Day between my mom and my wife. I can't buy it.
For sure.
Forget
You're like,
about it.
I will be writing cards for 100,000 years.
But the cool thing about it is again, just you never know. Mm-hmm. Right, what's on the other side. And here's the great thing: the 6-year-old daughter that I was able, that I wasn't sure when I left that day. Last month, I was able to walk her down the aisle. So it's been an awesome. It was that circle just completed. It was able to really see.
Exactly.
We were in Jackson Hole last month for her picture perfect wedding. So it was
Jackson
absolutely
Hole
amazing.
Friggin' amazing! I love that place. I would.
Yeah, that is. It's beautiful. But anyway, I just want to again encourage. And so a lot of people say, Ty, how'd you get through all this mess? And I just,
True.
I didn't have a choice.
I try to just boil it down, Doug, and just, I just try to, it's a lot of times people say, well, just think I think positive, I push through. Well, that's so broad. So, because I feel like we got to take small steps. Because it's kind of that quote, right? If we got 1% better every day, just think where we would be in a year kind of thing, right? I mean, and that's kind of the way I took it. But I thought about it, and I took a lot of time to think through it. And I said, keep it simple. There's 3 simple steps. And one thing I ask myself, and this is for anybody, and if they got a pen, write it down, because this is something I encourage people just as a reminder. When we run into adversity, whether it's just the car wouldn't start this morning, or something's going on at work, or a relationship, or our medical or our health, something's going on. I mean, I always look at it and say, my first question, are we going to grow or die? And when I say that, I'm not saying death and dying. I'm talking about death of a dream, a purpose, a goal, or your why. Ask people, are you going to let your why? I mean, is it that your family, your partner, whatever that looks like to you, right? Is your why? That's what we do. Are we going to grow or are we going to die? Hope and despair is the second one. That's how we think. Is it going to be a positive thinker, or are we going to be use the victim card, right? Oh, poor, why did I get picked to have all these health problems? Why me? And, so we got to think positive. And then the third is humor or drama. And that's how we talk. Right? If we go around and say, poor pitiful me, I can't believe I had to do this, I had to do that. But if we think positive, and when we do think and talk in a positive way, it aligns our mind. And I'm telling you guys, there are so much studies out, not just me throwing fluff. There's so much studies about how powerful our mind is.
Yeah.
And when we can think positive and we can stay positive by these simple little steps, it's amazing how it aligns. You get aligned with your mind, and you can just about do anything.
That's true.
Yep, I'm a believer.
I often say too, often what looks like the end of the road, it's just a turn in the road. Yeah. But if you see it as an end, it will be the end, because you'll just be like, well, whatever. But if you hang out a few extra seconds and go, wait a second, that goes left or right, and I have a choice, suddenly the road lengthened because your perspective was willing to be changed.
Well, and it kind of goes back to even what we're talking about is my father have raised me, right? What I thought was an obstacle and something being really mean, he was giving me a tool later to help me equip to get me through. And that's what, a lot of times, I got little positive things I have all around and this one right here says a positive mindset turns obstacles, into opportunities. Yeah. I mean, so the thing is you're right. I mean, sometimes what we're going through is only equipping us so that we're equipped for what's down the road.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things, it's truly the only thing you have control over is not the situation. It's how you react to it. I mean, you can make a bad situation even worse by just being, that victim card or whatever it is. But you can take that as an opportunity and man, look back over your life. I think if everybody took some time to assess their lives, they look back and think of those terrible things maybe that happened in your life, and then the good that came out of it, and where you had to make a turn, and you have a 6-year-old daughter that you're walking down the aisle or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's just, I mean, and the good thing about it doesn't cost us a dime. It's something that we're already equipped with, right? I mean, it's not, so-and-so can go afford it or not. It is, every one of us have it. We just have to make the choice to use it.
Yeah.
So is this a foundation that you've started to help people with this, or just how do you help people?
Well, one, on my website, it's tygipson.com. Yeah. It's with a P, Gipson. But what I do is right now is I do a lot of public speaking. I go out and try to, and we've talked to sales groups from medical groups to sales groups to small business owners associations and things of that nature. So really just to encourage people to push through whatever. But it's all relatively new, and and I'm just kind of I'm trying to, if I can help one, it's worth my time, and that's kind of my goal, right? And it's amazing to me though. And I'll tell you a quick little story. The other day I was speaking to a group, and I could tell the lady in the front was really struggling, a lot with the stories. And afterwards she kept hanging around, and I was talking to some people, and I was trying to get over to her just because I wanted to talk with her. And she came up to me and she says, "Ty, I have a son that really needs to hear this. Do you have a video or something of this message?" And I said, I mean, I've got the podcast that we talk about different things, but I said, I really don't. And I was about an hour and a half away. I live in Austin. I'm right outside of Austin, Texas, where I live now. And I was about an hour or so away. And I said, where do you live? And she said, oh, I just, anyway, it was 15 minutes from my house. And so last week I went and had a Coke with her son. Nice. And we just talked through. But my point to that is if we can help one person get through whatever, and that's kind of my mission. I don't have a foundation. I don't have all that set up, but it's really my personal mission. And on my website has my cell phone number, my email. People can reach out, and I can help them in any way I can. I just want to help, and really, where it goes from here, I don't know, but I'm ready for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to be.
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it, Eddie? I mean, we don't have a foundation. We don't have everything. We just
we don't have everything
do our
together.
Podcast, got a website, and just try to touch as many people and give as many people as we can the opportunity to tell their stories, because there's so much that's powerful. Yeah. The other thing too, I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about the role that gratitude has in this.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to just. I mean, the organ donations, the Donate Life. I mean, I can't thank them enough. I do a lot of work around that space just because of my background, but the gift of life, when you think about that, and I still do take calls, sometimes from different, organ associations. For instance, a couple of weeks ago, I got a call where there was a couple that was in the hospital. Their son was in the hospital, and they were trying to figure out if they wanted to donate the organs.
Yeah.
And they had them call me. And so I still do that, and I'm very, anything like that I can help. In a tragic situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so bad, but what we try to let them see is that is a horrible situation, and that's going to be, that's a very hard thing to deal with. But there is one little glimpse of light that they, at that point, can still help a lot of people. There's so many lives that can be saved from people donating organs, and so I'm so thankful for the people that have, the lady that has helped me. Mm-hmm. And their family, and the family that, but it's happening every day out there. Every day people are doing it. And so I just, I can't even think enough for what's going on, and the organ donations that are going on out there. I mean, I hear stories all the time. People call and tell me different stories of all this, and it's just amazing of what's going on out there. And it's a world that no one really knows about until you have to know about it, unfortunately. Yeah.
For sure.
I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I was 9 foot and bulletproof for the longest, right? I mean, but when you get put in a situation and you need organs, guess what? You learn a lot about organ donation.
That's right.
Real quick. Yeah.
Real quick. So I'm just trying to get out in front of the curve and help people educate and be prepared, and because we're only here for a certain period of time.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, it's been
special.
Awesome.
We become a vessel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
It's been awesome talking to you, and I just as we wind down here, want to give you a chance to talk about future goals and maybe a legacy and long-term impact. Yeah.
Well, my goal is, and we talked a little bit about it. I want to get on, be able to talk to more people, from a public speaking standpoint. I know that is my number one goal. I've got it listed right here in front of me is my goal this year. I'm reminding, is just to be more involved with public speaking, build the podcast. The podcast is a side um, part of all that, but really my main focus is just the opportunity to speak in front of more groups and tell the message, and hopefully increase organ donation, increase just encouragement, through whatever everyone's dealing with today, because we live in a tough world, and I think we need to, get better at locking arms and putting arms around each other and helping us through whatever situations we're in. But that's my goal this year, is to be able to get in front of more people and be able to encourage through that. And then the legacy, is, again, I got 2 daughters that are my world, and a beautiful wife. And it's been really fun to be able to show my daughters and help them, show them the true form of trying to help people. Yeah. They've seen me work really hard all these years and growing our business, to be able to get last year to be able to sell it, which is the brand. We have a national branding company, which is turned in that we sold. And I still work part with that, but kind of from a consulting role. And but it's really nice from a legacy to be able to see my kids and see my wife and I giving back and helping. And I think that's really what I enjoy, having them come along with us and do the same.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Much more powerful when they just see that example. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can talk about it all day long, right? But it's different when they see you up on talking about it in front of people or things of that nature, or being somewhere when someone's really gets touched and they want to talk to you. To see the reactions to my daughters is amazing. I mean, it's funny. I mean, my oldest comes every now and then. She'll ask me, "Dad, I had no idea you went through that." It's just. Yeah. But as a kid, being in our house, she didn't always know everything like that. But now, as an adult, looking back, it's kind of from a different lens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, anything we didn't ask that you want to share before we let you go?
No, I would love for them to if they have the opportunity to follow us on our
absolutely
at tygipson.com on my and then Spotify and all that has my podcast. No Options with Ty Gipson. But other than that is, lock arms with your neighbor or somebody that may be going through times that are tough. And then share stories. I would encourage everybody to communicate, because everybody has a story. Everybody's dealing with something, but sometimes if you try to dust off and don't tell anybody, nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
And so you need to try to help, and you can help through just sharing your story.
I think that aligns with Addie and I, and our mission here the last couple of months seems to be our mantra is find your community, and support your community, and your community will support you, and you'll be stronger for it. So good advice. Good. Ty Gipson with a P. Yeah, yes. You can find his website, his social media. Thank you for joining us on Walk and Roll Live.
Thank you, man. I so appreciate you guys. Thanks for what you're doing.
Each week on Walk and Roll Live, we share honest and open stories of people living with a disability.
Again, you don't really see it until you're a bit older, and you can look back at the progression and sort of the peak and where you are and where you plateau as well. Because young athletes do plateau. They do kind of just, no matter how good you are.
Join us weekly for another powerful episode. Walk and Roll Live, wherever you get your podcasts. Life Limitless.
From the Ugyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
Step into the stories, hear the truth unfold, voices rising boldly, breaking every mold. Life without limits.
Yep, another edition of Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories. My co-host Addie is here. I am Doug, and Ty Gipson was our guest today. What do you think?
So he doesn't talk about it as much in the story, but what's also fascinating is Ty has had so many opportunities to do amazing things, like in his own spirit. I mean, he did the college Disney thing. He stayed on with Disney. Like for me, I'm like, that's an amazing job. Mm-hmm. But then, he gets done there and goes through obviously what you heard in the story of needing a transplant and then these different things happening, and then starts a really, really like professional printing company and climbs it up to a big deal and sells it off. And then, he has to have another transplant. And what are the chances that it's his mom and his wife? Like, it's just insane.
I can't even calculate that.
Yeah, my brain was like, what? Yeah. So what are the world is such a big place, and you pick one person in the world to be with you, or to like, obviously he came from his mom, but you know what I mean? Like the wife, and then to have it be her, I'm like, no way. Yeah. No way.
That's why we love to tell these stories.
Yeah. And I love it too, because sometimes when you pick the guest, you have a background that I have no idea. Like I literally get the prep sheet right before, and I try to not really read ahead. So I truly am surprised. Whatever you're hearing me say is my real-time reaction.
And, there are people, I know there are people that do this kind of thing that, they prep and read. And, they'll read the whole book beforehand. And I just my method is, and sometimes my inner voice says, well, you're lazy. Why don't you do some more prep? But that's just always been my style. I love to not know. And it makes me more inquisitive and curious. And, I hear them say something and then I'll ask a question, to take us maybe sometimes a different direction. But I just love learning it that way. But
I think it's interesting because a lot of guests have said to us that they like it because it's like a conversation between friends. And I think that if we eroded it too much, it wouldn't feel like that, because it's like, okay, now's the time for this question. Yeah. And I think, you're kind of alluding to it. We think the interview is going to be one way. We have a certain, we'll have a little chat ahead of time, like hope this goes this way or hope goes well or whatever. And then we get off and we're like, whoa, that was even better than we thought.
Right. Yeah. I am yet to be disappointed.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. So. All righty. Good. And we've got another good one next week. Let me double check here. We've gotten into the habit, thank goodness, because when I first started doing this, because we put it out on Tuesday in the afternoon, and we would do it that week with our guest. And if somebody didn't make it, then we had to kind of hurry up and pivot and find something to do. So this is a whole lot stressful. So I think next week we have Casa Colina, right? Yeah, Casa Colina. Got a couple of the prominent people that do the adaptive sports program, do the physical therapy, and just are responsible for so many good things that Casa Colina is known for. And they are known for I was looking on their website the other day, and just so there's like a drop-down menu, and every one has 15 things under it, different research programs and just all the different things they do. So we're going to learn about probably just a real kind of a small part of it. I think but it's big.
We learned about like a splinter worth, but I don't know about you, but when I got off that one, I was like, oh, I made new friends. And they were like so cool because they're so into giving people a whole life, not just recovering the body, but like integrating the body with the mind and like how it all kind of works together. But it was such a like refreshing conversation, because when I record, I'm recording after a work day. Yeah. Like I've been up, and sometimes, not that I'm never not interested, that's the wrong thing to say, but sometimes they're more like invigorating, and I'm like, I could stay up till tomorrow if I needed to. And that was one of those where I felt like that when we got off.
I got to tell you, I'm sure there's more than one listener right now going, this is her energy level after she's worked. What's she like in the morning?
Exactly. When I'm singing and telling the dogs all about, and mind you, it's normally on about 4.5 hours of sleep. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I was mentioning earlier that it was kind of a quiet week, which was great because I wanted to get caught up on some of our resources. And I'm not going to go through the whole list, but if you look at the last 5 or 6 guests that we've had, I've finally gotten their information. So if you want to know more about them, their blog is up on our resource page. Just go to, if you remember the guest name or what their blog was or what it was about, we have categories now, and we have a place where you can search. So if you know Michelle Steiner, you just put Michelle Steiner, and it'll probably come up. Yeah. So kind of trying to get caught up on some things. So next week, Caso Colina, and you have a wonderful week, meaning our listeners, and you, Miss Addie, you have a wonderful week.
You too.
And
hey, like, subscribe, and follow us. We did we talk about our milestone at 10K? I don't know.
Well, let's do it. we reached 10,000.
Well, we've gotten that far, and we're thankful for you, for all of you who are helping us, for people all over the world. That's the cool thing, is when Doug looks at the map and there's people like from everywhere. I was like, whoa, our voice is all over the place.
Yeah. That's what keeps me going, so.
That's what gives me the energy that you hear is that.
And hopefully you like what we're doing. And if you have any thoughts, any suggestions on some things maybe that we're not doing that you want to do, or would love to hear, and we'd be more than happy to do them if it's something people are interested in. So just drop us a line. There's plenty of places on the website, generally in the comment section of any platform you're listening to us on. So I'd love to hear from you too. We'll highlight you. All right. So that's it for this week. Thank you for listening. I am your host, Doug Vincent, and Addie Rich is with me every week from the Aguiar Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories, Life Limitless.